How you doing, everybody? And welcome to another Monday morning coaching. I am Thibodeaux, and I am so glad that you are here. Today is going to be just an incredible day of training. I hope that you're ready to learn. Hope you have a pencil and a piece of paper, and you are ready to just digest this incredible information. I've got a lot to teach you today as we look at a 12-step strategic operation process. Now, those of you who are wanting to launch a business, or perhaps you already have a business and you're wanting to take it to the next level, or perhaps you're just stuck and you don't know exactly why you're stuck, today's going to bring a lot of clarity for you, today. And I'm super geeked to teach this. Now, this process that I'm going to teach you today is something that I invented. I designed it, and it sort of came just from a logical accident. Okay, just a logical accident. I was asked to speak at a real estate event, and I wanted something to be able to teach these realtors. I wanted to be able to teach them marketing and some concepts, but I wanted to be able to put something in a very logical flow. And so I went back to think about really, how do I launch products? How do I help people launch products? What's the logical flow? And I took a notepad and a pencil and a piece of paper, and I just started writing down the concepts, the ideas, and put it in a timeline. And then I went back and flushed it out to see if I was missing anything. I added a few extra pieces to it, and I've come up with what I believe is a really solid 12-step strategic operation process. I call this Strat Op, okay? Strategic operations, the 12-step Strat Op process. And I've refined this over the months, and I think that I've got something really good that I'm going to share with you. And I'm pretty excited to share this today because I'm going to do this on a Facebook Live today, and I'm working on this, and I want to do this on a webinar. And I'm super excited to teach this to the world before too long. But for all of my fans and all of my students and all of my clients who are watching this today, welcome. Let's just jump in. Now, I've got to tell you that I'm coming off of like a high right now. Like, I don't know if you've ever been high. And it's not because of coffee. See, because my coffee cup is empty, and I wish it wasn't. I like a little caffeine in me. But I've had the privilege of the last 2 days to spend with two of the most incredible people that I've ever met, two of the most beautiful souls that I've ever come in contact, and that is Liz Benny and her wife Christy. And they're from New Zealand, and they're here in Phoenix this weekend, and they're doing a mastermind. And with just some really incredible people, 16, 17 people from all around the country, actually around the world. You're talking mid 6, 7, even 8-figure earners in this room. And they're all just ingesting this information from the incredible Liz Benny. They're helping each other out. Just super impressed with her mastermind. Super impressed. And I just was lucky. I think it's probably the right word to say, blessed, grateful for the opportunity that she gave me when she texted me and said, "Hey man, do you want to come pick me up from the airport?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to pick you up from the airport." So I went and picked her and Christy up from the airport, and we were able to go to dinner that night. And I've got some crazy pictures on my Facebook. You can look. We just had so much fun. But I knew immediately that just speaking with her and being in her presence and building a relationship with her, that I had sort of like, it was like an oil well, and I found oil, right? And I sort of felt like the Clampets, Texas tea, baby. That's what I found when I ran into her. But it wasn't her knowledge that I was so impressed with, although she's incredibly brilliant. My gosh, is she brilliant? It wasn't even her persona and her kapow. It was her person. It was just who she was. I found someone incredibly genuine and kind and loving and honest and integral, and someone who I just could learn so much from. And so I'm very grateful. Well, she invited me to come speak at her mastermind group this past weekend, and that was an honor. Like, who am I to speak in front of mid 6, 7, and 8-figure earners? But I was super excited to be able to do that. And this is what she wanted me to teach. She wanted me to teach this 12-step strategic operation process. And so I did. And I got a lot of really good feedback from it. And I said, it's been a while since I've taught this to my students. And the last time I taught it to them, it was only an 11-step process. It was a little fragmented. Now it's a little bit more polished. And I'm like, I want to bring this to you. So grab a pencil, grab a piece of paper, and let's go. So here we are, guys, the 12-step strategic operation process, where we're going to help you get crystal clear on who you are, on who you're helping, on what you're selling, and how to make money with your business, product, or service. And I'm going to have slides up throughout the majority of the presentation. They're really simple slides, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to grab a piece of paper. These are 12 steps. You can write 1 through 12 if you want to, write them out. But take great notes under each one. Every one of these steps that I'm going to give you is a concept in your business in which you need to understand, perfect, and refine. Every one of these steps, okay? These all build on each other. You can't build a business off of any one of these steps independently, okay? But if you're missing one of these 12 steps, then it's going to really hurt you in the long end. In fact, what's so interesting is like some of the people that we've been working with on here, as you look at their business, you can sometimes see one of these 12 steps that's misplaced, and then you can go in and fix that, and you can be able to see positive results. So super excited. So welcome, guys. We're so glad. Let's jump in here. Just grab a pencil and a sheet of paper, and let's go in. I'm going to start right now, right at the top, and I'm going to tell you that this is all about a value ladder. Okay, a value ladder. And you know, in the industry that I'm in, and the coaching that I do, I tell you to start at the upper end, the high ticket item. Okay, so start there and then work your way backwards. Most people start at the beginning and work your way upwards. I tell you to start at the top and work your way backwards. So if you've got a high ticket item, somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000, I believe everybody has one in you. Everybody does. You need to do this 12-step process to get crystal clear on your high ticket. And if you can get crystal clear on this, you can sell it, you can make money, and you can literally change your life, change your community, ultimately change the world. So here it is, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. It went backwards. Hang on one second. Goofy me. Let me erase on my slides. There we go. Okay, here we are. You ready? Here it is. So it all starts with the person. Now, I've got to tell you, first and foremost, that you just have to know something, okay? You ready? Somebody told me this joke yesterday, and I loved it, so I'm going to do it. I'm getting ready to pee all over you. I mean, I'm going to pee all over you, baby, so you better get ready. You're getting ready to get peed on, okay? And the first P that I'm going to give you is the word person, okay? Person. The very first thing that you've got to be able to do in order to create a great business and a great product and a great service is you've got to be able to come crystal clear on your person. Who is it that you're working with? Now, this is incredibly important, and I'm going to do just a shallow dive on every one of these. But let's talk about the person real quick. If there is a mistake to be made in business, besides a lack of confidence, the mistake to be made is not knowing who it is you're trying to sell to, okay? You need to find your target. You need to find your niche, and you need to build your entire business, brand, product, service around that niche. Who is the person that you are working with? And you can ask yourself a few questions like, who do I want to spend the majority of my time with? If you're selling a high ticket item, you're probably going to be trading a little bit of time for dollars. Who do I want to spend time with? You need to be able to figure that out. Then you need to ask yourself the question, who would my products best serve? And who can I get the most results for? So in my business, my person that I've decided, and it's not the greatest avatar, to be honest with you, from a financial standpoint, but it's the greatest avatar as far as significance for me goes. And I decided that my target audience is going to be men and women, probably between the age 35 and 55, somewhere in that range, who want to get involved in the digital marketing or online marketing space. And they're newbies, they're brand new. Perhaps they have been burned, okay, by buying all these online courses and they've got all the information, they don't know how to apply it. For whatever their issue is, they're sort of hesitant, but here's what they know. They know they want to escape the 9-to-5. They know that perhaps they're a stay-at-home mom. They need to bring in some secondary income. They know that they have potential inside of them and they're not living up to their potential. Okay, these are the people that I do best with. Okay, in all my relationships in life, these are the people that I do best with. The people who want to do better in life, and not the people who believe that they've achieved it in life. Okay, if you want to see a personality rub with me, put me in front of somebody who thinks they know it all. Okay, and who's arrived, they can't learn, okay, then you and I are we'll have a personality rub. But if you are a learner and you are a influencer and you feel like you want to change the world with your product, your business, or your service, and you want to do that through the online marketing space, then I'm for you. Now, here's who I probably wouldn't be good for. I probably wouldn't be good for like an 18-year-old who is not quite at the mark where he or she is ready to launch their product or launch their business, I probably wouldn't be good for that person. I probably wouldn't be good for the person who's made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars online. There's probably other people better than me. I'm really good for the newbie. I'm really good for the person who is ready to go. So I have fleshed down who my target audience is, who is my person that I want to spend time with. And then what that does is that acts now as the foundation that we build everything upon. Because every other bullet point that I'm going to give you, the next 11 bullet points, all go back to that person. And what I like to do is I like to give that person a name. It's called an avatar, okay? So let's say that that person's name is Steve, okay? Or that person's name is Susan. Okay, and Steve is 39 years old. Steve is married. He's got 4 kids. Steve went to college. He's got a decent education. He got in the corporate world, made some money, and just realized that he hates it. There's a lot of pressure on Steve and his wife because he's not feeling the significance at work, and he's beginning to bring that at home. And because of that, there's not a lot of income coming in, and problems with the marriage are beginning to happen. He's beginning to isolate his kids. He's not spending as much time with them. So I give it a name, a person. You can do that in your business. So it all starts right at the beginning. It all starts with the person. Now, what's the second one? Okay, what's the second P? The second P is problem. Okay, the second P is problem. Your person has a problem. Now, in business, okay, the way that you and Colby Kay was a master of this. He shared that this weekend in a mastermind that we were both speaking in, and he shared it. And he goes, here's how you grow. Here's how you sell a product. First, you identify a problem. Then you come up with a solution for that problem. Then you validate that your solution is worthwhile and it will work. And then you sell the hell out of it. So you're saying that's what you do. Well, let's talk about the problem, okay? Because in the end, as we'll talk about in a minute, in the end, every person that you work with has some type of problem. So what was the problem? What's the problem for my audience, okay? Many of you watching this today, this is your problem, okay? Because you're in my avatar, you're in my target audience. And I'm taking the role as teacher today, and you need to come in and you need to take the role as student, and you need to listen, okay? Don't have all the answers today. Come with lots of questions. Okay, but in my business, in my line, in my industry, the problem that my folks have is they are completely overwhelmed. Okay, just completely overwhelmed. I'll tell you a story about me. Okay, about a year and a half ago, I had moved out of a really big house in Gilbert. Beautiful home, about 3,800 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, living room, dining room, formal, or a den, kitchen, beautiful place, office, had everything that we needed. It was gorgeous. And we moved from that home to the home that I'm currently in. And this is about 1,500 to 1,600 square feet. I needed to downsize because as a single daddy, I couldn't keep that place clean. It was too overwhelming. I couldn't make it happen. So I needed to downsize and be in a little bit more of a cozy space like I'm in currently. And so I got rid of most everything. And then we hired some movers to pack everything up and to move us. And we only had them for 4 hours to do this big move. And so we loaded everything in the truck. They brought it, put it in here, and and they just literally, because they were out of time, they just threw everything in my living room, like just dumped it in my living room. And I remember, and I was going through some personal issues at the time. I was already a little down on myself. I wasn't confident in who I was. I was a little bit whatever. And so for this is sad. I don't even know why I'm laughing at it. But for 2 freaking weeks, guys, listen, I'm just going to be a little open and authentic and vulnerable to you today. For 2 weeks, I literally walked in my door and I sat on this couch right behind me and I stared at boxes. There were just dozens of boxes all over my house. I stared at them and I just looked at them. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start because the overwhelm paralyzed me. And this is exactly what happens with so many of you guys. Like, you want to start a business, you want to launch a product, you want to take your business to the next level, but you just don't know where to start. And the overwhelm is paralyzing. I wonder how many of you can relate with that today, that you've done something, or you've tried to do something, and because the overwhelm, you just didn't know what to start, you didn't know what to do. It just was overwhelming for you, and you just stood paralyzed. So here's what I had to do. So I finally sucked up my pride, and I texted my sister, and who's much older than I am, and also much more organized than I am. And she's moved a lot more times than I have. And she came over and she knocked on the door and she gave me a big, gigantic hug. And then she rolled up her sleeves. We got to work. And in 2 hours, guys, in 2 freaking hours, We had all those boxes unpacked, folded up, stuck in the garage, and my house was clean, neat, and organized in 2 hours. And why am I telling you that? The reason why I'm telling you that is because there is something that we can learn from that, okay? So what did Debbie bring to me? What did she bring to me at that particular moment? What she brought to me was she brought a little objectivity, okay? And you have to have objectivity, okay? You have to have it. And then she brought a little know-how, okay? Then she brought a game plan, and then she brought a work ethic, okay? That's what she brought. But because she had those things, she could enter into my problem and produce a solution to my problem in which she got me results, and I was incredibly happy. Okay, but you can't do any of that with your clients unless you know what the problem is. So your person, your avatar, they struggle with something. My audience, they struggle with launching a business. They're overwhelmed. That's their problem. Okay, I need to solve that problem, but I can't go from problem to solve. I can't do it. There's got to be more than that. And that's what brings us to our third P. So you have to identify what problems do your person have, okay, and list them, bullet point them. They all have 3, 4, 5, 6 problems, okay? And then you got to move on to the next slide, the next point, which is pain, okay, which is pain, okay? And this is probably, and I'm going to spend just a second on this because this is probably, in addition to knowing your person, this is probably the second most important thing on the page, okay, right here, is the pain. Now, can we just step back a little bit and just talk about pain for a second? So I was in the ministry for 19 years. And if there's anything that I learned in the ministry that has helped me in my business, it's this. Pain is real. It's real. There's no sugarcoating pain. You can't cliche pain and it go away. Pain is real. Pain sucks. We all have it. In my life, when I was stuck, I was depressed, I was anxious. If I was honest with myself, I was probably suicidal. When I was there in my life, my problems manifested themselves in pain a lot. I just knew that after I left the ministry and, you think of it, and one day, you lose a spouse, you lose your kids, you lose your career, you lose your income in one day, and you gain problems and depression and anxiety and stress. You gain all that. That's pain, and it manifests itself. And so my problem, in addition to my personal problems, my professional problem was I needed to do something now. I needed to launch a business. But I was overwhelmed. I didn't know how. And so here's how it manifested in myself. And here's how it manifests itself in a lot of my students. Okay. For me, it manifests itself in depression and frustration and aggravation, and a lack of significance. I was like, God, I've always been really good at what I do. And here I am. I find myself I suck. And I would look in the mirror and I hated the person that I was seeing. I didn't like that person. I didn't believe in myself. So I went on Craigslist and I went to the job section and I applied for like 300 jobs and I didn't even get one phone call back. Like not even one. I only got like 5 replies to my resume. And I'm like, I'm a really intelligent guy. I've led hundreds, if not thousands of people. I've been successful at everything that I've done in life. I'm educated. I've got a freaking master's degree. I'm a really intelligent guy and I can't even get somebody to freaking call me back. And guys, literally tears flowing down my face. And this was my pain. This was my pain. And as I wrestled with that, and I knew that this was the business that I was going to be in. I wanted to work with people just like me who were experiencing similar pain as me, and I wanted to help them. And so I had to go back in my reservoir and I had to figure out what worked for me. And I created a system, and what you're learning today is part of that system. We're going to get to the rest of it. But pain is really where it's at. Now, let's jump in here. Okay. The difference between someone who makes dozens of dollars online and someone who makes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars online is this bullet point right here. Why? Because pain sells. Pain sells. So let's just get real for a second. Can we just get raw and real? Because I'm in the life-changing business. This is what I want to do. I want to change your life. I want to change your business. I want to change your financial statement. And I want to change the results for the people that you impact. And so what I'm telling you is it all goes back to here. It all goes back to pain. If you had chronic pain, let's say that you had chronic back pain. For many years, I had chronic back pain. I had a sciatica nerve issue. And I literally, when I'd walk a few steps, and then the pain would just shoot so strong down my side that like it hurt. And I remember one time I was pastoring in a church in California, and I had a storage closet right beside my office, and I came out, I was in my storage closet, and I bent over to get something out of the box, and that sciatica just hit me, and then my back went out, and I fell to the ground, and I couldn't get up. And one of the volunteers in the office, her name was Pat the Hammer Petton, and Pat was like 90 years old, like really. She was like 86, 87, 88, 90. I don't know how old she was, an old lady, and she weighed literally, she probably weighed 70 pounds, 80 pounds. She hears me fall, she comes running in, and here this little 70-year-old is trying to get this big old fat dude up off the ground. It was so funny. I don't even know why I'm telling you the story, but it was pain, right? And I remember going through that pain and living with that pain, physical pain. Remember thinking that I would do anything to get rid of this. I would do anything to get rid of this pain. Literally, it didn't matter what it cost. It didn't matter what I had to sacrifice. If I could get rid of that pain, it would be worth it. Well, in the real world, in the physical or the business world that you're working in, people have pain like that. It may not be physical chronic pain, but it's emotional pain. It's an emotional struggle. It's relationship pain. It's significance pain. It's security pain. It's financial pain. And the difference between people who make dozens and people who make millions is when you can get to the point where you can identify what they're going through. And the only way you do that is you have to put yourself in their shoes, and you've got to be able to feel and understand and recognize the pain in what your client is going through. And then you need to be able to voice their pain. You need to be able to tell them what it is they're going through. And here's what happens. When you can tell them, when you can empathize with them and understand what they're going through, and then you can tell them, you are done, baby. You are done. You have already validated yourself as a great asset to their life. There's no more vetting. There's no more skepticism. They're going to put the money down and help you if you can tell them what they are feeling. Why? Because you've now identified it. You've now become their advocate. You've now become the greatest asset in their life because you've recognized something in them and from them and by them that nobody else has. Okay? So pain is important. Pain is what we pay for. We pay for a solution to pain. Okay? Your business, your digital marketing, your online, your informational, your coaching, whatever kind of business you have, your business does not solve a problem. It solves pain. And if you can solve pain, if you can solve it, people will pay you whatever amount of money to get that pain solved. Okay? It's a huge, huge deal. I hope this is resonating with you. Okay? I hope it's resonating with you. Now let's move on to the point number 4. Now this is where you come in. Okay? So you've got a person, they have a problem, that problem manifests itself in pain. Now you're going to come in here, and this is you. You are personal, and you're going to bring empathy to the table. Okay? I like to say this is your Mighty Mouse moment. You ready? Here I come to save the day. Mighty Mouse is on. You remember that cartoon, right? This is your Mighty Mouse moment. You are going to swoop in now, and you are going to rescue them, and you are going to save the day. But you're not going to come in and rescue them and save the day through what I call ego. You're going to come in and save the day through what I call hero. Okay? Ego is when it's all about me, 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 me. Look at me. It's all about me, who I know, what I know, how I know, my system, my product, my service, my accolades, my name dropping, my. That's what ego is. It's all about me. Hero says, it sucks what you're going through. I know. I've been there. I remember one time and then you tell your story. I remember one time when I was trying to launch my business, and I'd spent hundreds of dollars on Infusionsoft and on ClickFunnels and on lead pages, and spent all this money trying to launch. And I didn't get anywhere. I lost so much money. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. I literally wanted to quit and give up. And I remember one time when my kids came to me and they wanted something like really simple, like to go to Castles and Coasters. And it was like $30 a person. So it was gonna be like $100, maybe 120 after I give them some snack money. And I remember looking at them and saying, baby, daddy doesn't have any money. I don't have any money. I remember having to borrow money from my ex to pay a bill. I remember that. And I remember what it felt like. I remember how worthless I felt. I remember how insignificant I felt. I remember how much I felt like I let my kids down. I felt worthless. But that was until I discovered something. And this transition is powerful. Okay, you tell your problem, you tell your pain, quickly, shortly, quickly, and then you transition. And your transition is always best when you say, but that's when I discovered, or that's how I felt until I came across, or until I met, okay, or until I created. Whatever your transition is, until I created. So for me, it was, this was my problem, this was my struggle, until I was introduced to Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels and the Expert Secrets book. And so I can transition that, okay? And then from once I tell my story and I empathize, I come in and save the day, and I validate. This is all about validation right here. I validate that I am the right guy for the job or the right girl for the job. Once I do that, I want to move it from me onto them as quickly as possible. Even in telling my story, it's all about them. Okay, so what you want to avoid right here is telling your story and making it about you. And so you want to be able to use your words and phraseology very carefully here. You want to be able to come in and say, I remember what it was like to feel insignificant with my kids. Have you ever felt that way? So you see how I can turn it from me to you? Have you ever felt that way? I wonder what kind of pain and struggle you're going through right now. What's your insignificant moment? What's the moment that you felt like I did? What was it? Process that right now. But see, that's how I felt until I discovered a process that if I can give all my stuff away, then I can build an incredible tribe. I can help hundreds, if not thousands, if not hopefully hundreds of thousands and even millions of people by teaching them how to give all their stuff away and get paid for it. That's what I did. So then it takes you to the next point. And the next point is promise. Now you're going to make them a promise, okay? A promise. I want to make you a promise today, okay? I want to make you a promise that everything is okay. And you can look at them in the eye and say, I'm going to make you a promise today that if you will just listen to the teaching, apply it, make in-course corrections, I can make you a promise that you're going to be able to launch your product or launch your program relatively quickly, and you're going to be successful at it. I want to make you that promise. Now, why can I make you that promise? Because this is what I did, okay? I remember all that pain that I felt, and I discovered a system and a solution. Well, this is what I did. And the reason, and it worked for me, and I'm going to share with you what I did here in just a minute, but that worked for me so well that I can make you a promise that everything is going to be okay. I want you to tune me in. You can tell them, you can coach them through this process. So in your business, I've been putting these in order for you. This is the third most important thing on the page. So the first most important is you have to understand who you're working with. The second most important is you have to understand what pain they're going through. And the third most important thing on here is you have to be able to make a promise. You need to be able to spend consistent amounts of time, like literally take a day, 2 days, 3 days, I don't care what you do, and focus on your promise statement. Focus on that statement. What kind of promise statement do you have? What is it that you can say with confidence that if they do what you're telling them to do, here is the type of result? Now, you have to be careful with result, and you need to listen. I'm going to teach on this in 2 weeks, okay? In my little schedule here, I'm going to teach you how to be a great student to a coach, okay? But here's what you have to know about coaching or online businesses or consulting or mentoring or anything. Nobody is responsible for your results but you. Nobody. The only person responsible for whether your business is successful or not is you. That's it. A coach isn't, a program isn't, consultation isn't, mentorship isn't, done for you services isn't, Facebook ads aren't, algorithms aren't, ClickFunnels isn't, Infusionsoft isn't. The only person responsible for your success is you. So when you make a promise to somebody, you do not ever guarantee a result as far as financial ROI. I've never done that. Why? Because I can't guarantee it. Because a result has nothing to do with me as the coach, but has everything to do with the student, right? Because you are ultimately responsible for your results. But here's what I can promise. What I can promise is, listen, I've created an 8-step process. And I'm going to share that process with you in a minute. But if you go through these in a logical order, step by step, you do the work, you apply yourself, you make in-course corrections, I promise you that we're going to be able to launch your product, launch your business, or launch your service. And we'll be able to do it relatively fast. So I can make a promise. I can promise you, and you want this promise to be directly related to their pain. I can promise you that we're going to help you find significance again. See, don't bring it back to the problem, because problems don't sell. Pain sells. I'm going to promise you that you're going to be able to afford to buy castles and coasters for your kids again. I'm going to promise you that before too long, you're going to be able to leave your 9 to 5. Are you following me? So you can make promises without giving them a financial ROI. You can't do that. Okay? I don't care how good you are. Nobody can ever get somebody a financial ROI because it's all subjective, right? Did they do the work? Did they not do the work? Does their product suck? Does it not suck? Are they a good communicator? Are they not a good communicator? Are their Facebook ads good? Does somebody want it? I mean, there's all sorts of variables and tangibles to what gets an ROI that as a coach, as a consultant, as a mentor, as a partner, you cannot guarantee a result because you as the client are the only person responsible for your result. Okay. So you can come back and you can make a promise, but you can't make a result. Then it moves you to step number 6. Okay. Step number 6 is what we call the process. Okay. The process. I'm getting a phone call from the late, I keep saying the late, but from the great Liz Binney right now. I'm going to text her and I'm going to text her while we talk. Okay. So the process. And so in this process, this is very important that you want to give the what. Okay. The what. The process is what you're going to do that gives you so much confidence that you can make the promise that you just made. So in my situation, I created an 8-step launch process. I call it Launch 28. I've got an 8-step process that I create that if you go through it and you do every one of the steps, step 8 is activate. Okay. You're going to have a business. You can't not have a business if you do all the steps. Okay. And so what I do, and I'll do it in a webinar, I'll do it on a training like this. I go through and I give them the 8 steps. Here's what you're going to do. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's how you do it. Or excuse me, here's what you do. I told them what I did. Here's what I didn't do. I didn't tell them how to do it. I just told them what they need to do. And in your business, you've got to be really careful that you have it separated what and how. See, there's three. You have the why, you have the what, and you have the how. The why is why you do the what and the how. Why do you do that? The what is what you can give away for free in lead magnets and Facebook Lives and webinars and in PDF downloads and anything. You can give the what away for free. It validates you as an expert. It shows the world that you know what the heck you're talking about. It really helps people. They're getting value out of it, but you didn't tell them how to do it. Okay? You're simply telling them the what. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm telling you what, right? What I'm doing today is a classic example of a what, okay? Of a what. It's the process, okay? It's the process. It's the what process. Then after you tell them the what and they get geeked about it, that's what you give away. Now you can sell them something, and that's the how, okay? That's the how, okay? Are you with me? So that's the how. So the what is what you give away. The how is what you sell, okay? Are you with me? What's free? How's paid? What's free? How's paid? What's free? How's paid? You have to be able to delineate those. You have to be able to separate and compartmentalize the what and the how. Listen, nobody ever pays for what, okay? You can get training on YouTube and on Google, but the how is different. Getting somebody to give you, and here's what the how. There's 3 things that people pay for in the how that ultimately solve their pain and ultimately solve their problem. It's step by step, done for you, and how to. Okay, write that down, okay? The how is always step by step. So here's a step-by-step process that you can do to get your result. Done for you is, hey, here's my resources. I've already done them. You can leverage my work. Here's my funnel. Here's my email templates. Here's my graphics. Here's my PowerPoint. Here's my copy. Here's my sequences. Here's my whatever. Here's my work that I'm going to give for you. They're already done. They're done for you. And you can now take these assets and you can leverage my work and you can change a few things and you can use them in your business. Okay. So step by step, done for you. And the third is how to. How do I do that? Okay. Somebody was joking with me this morning that they noticed my Instagram feed today. And I've only got, I've had Instagram for like 7 years or whatever, how long Instagram's been around. I've got 3 posts on Instagram, 3. One is a bowl of, like an empty bowl of chili. One is my daughter's shoe. And one is a very handsome picture of yours truly. Very handsome. It's gorgeous. I'm joking. That's the only 3 posts I have. And somebody said something. So this morning I went and I'm like, you know what? They're right. I'm going to go post something. And I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm pretty techie. I pulled out my phone. I could not figure out how to post on Instagram. You know what I'd pay for if I thought Instagram was going to solve a problem for me and solve some of my pain? I'd pay money for someone to teach me how to build an Instagram following. Okay, if that was my problem, if that was going to provide a solution to me. Okay, so step by step, done for you, how to. So in your business, your product is the process with step by step, done for you, and how to resources attached to it. That's what you sell. Okay, so let's imagine. Let's take a business. Okay, let's take a coaching business. Coaching business. Let's say that you wanted to be a coach. Okay, and let's say that you knew somebody who was a very successful coach, and you wanted to be able to get the results that he or she had. Okay. And that person came to you and said, well, here's how you coach. Here's the 8 steps to getting results for clients. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're drinking it in like, whoa, that's so awesome. Wow, he's a genius. She's a genius. That's the most incredible stuff I've ever seen in my life. Wow. They tell you what? But then they say, here's the deal. Your biggest struggle is not going to be knowing how to get results, but your biggest struggle is be how to get clients. And so what if I told you that I had a funnel, a done-for-you funnel, that you could literally take my headline out and put your headline in, take my sub-headline out, put your sub-headline in, take my picture out, put your picture in, but it's already done. All you got to do is change a few things. Then I've got a 12-step email sequence that will nurture folks and get them from skepticism to paying. I've got that sequence for you. I've got a webinar script that you can take and that you can adapt and you can use to build your webinar with. I've got an intake form that you're going to be able to use when you get a client. You'll have an intake form. I have evaluation forms. I have calendar forms. I have scheduling forms. I have everything that you need to build your coaching business, and you don't need to recreate any of that. Raise your hand if you would pay for that. We all would pay for that. Why? Because it's going to save us a ton of time, a ton of energy, a ton of mistakes. We're going to leverage their work to alleviate our mistakes. And that's what you need to do. You need to leverage the work of an expert to alleviate the mistake of an amateur. Did you get that? Leverage the work of an expert to alleviate the mistake of an amateur. That's what you need to do. That it's brilliant. You have to do that. But you're going to be able to come in now and tell them, here's the product, okay? So, hey, here's my process, but now let me introduce you to my online course. Now let me introduce you to my paid mastermind. Now let me introduce you to my paid Facebook group. Now let me introduce you to one-on-one coaching, or whatever it is your product is. Now you can come all the way on step 7. You can now come and introduce your product to them. You follow me? So you figured out who you're going to work with, what their problem is, how it manifests itself in pain. You've come in now to save the day. You've empathized with them. You told them your story. You told them now why you're credentialed to be able to make the promise. And you're going to give them a very scripted promise statement, okay, that's going to be able to bring hope. Because in the end, hope sells, right? They're going to lean in when you give hope because they want hope. And then you're going to tell them the process. If you do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, you're going to be able to launch your business. You're going to be able to save your marriage. You're going to be able to make money. You're going to, whatever your solution is, you can be able to tell them through the process. And then if you need more support on that, here's my shiny object. Here's my product. Here's what I have to offer you. Here's how I can serve you best. Here's how I can help you get more results out of what I've already taught you, and it's my product. Once you get that, you got to move on. Okay? Now what? Now you have to go to a very important one, which is proof. Okay? Proof. I told you I was going to pee all over you today, right? Proof. What proof do you have that your process worked. Notice it didn't say your product worked. What proof do you have that your process works? Because see, some of you don't have a product, you're building a product, so you don't have any proof that your product works or doesn't work, okay? You don't have any proof. But you may have proof that a process works, okay? Did you do this? What are your results? See, that's proof. I worked with 3 people. Here's what their results were. In fact, here's the thing. If you don't have any clients and you're launching a business, I teach this all the time. You need to find 3 people that are your perfect avatar, who have a problem that you know you can solve, people that you understand their pain, people that you know you can come in and help because you've been there, done that. You can make them an incredible promise. You can show them a step-by-step process. You need to find 3 people that you can take through that process and be able to get results for them. They need to reply to you in a video and written testimony. Why? Because then you have proof. Then you have proof, okay? And if you have proof that your product works, it works. Now, is it going to work for everybody? No. Okay, no. There are people that I work with that think I walk on water and I've changed their life. And I think, and there are people that I've worked with that think I suck, okay? But I have proof that my product works, okay? I don't have proof that it's going to work for them. I have proof that my product and my process works. It's worked for hundreds and thousands of people, and I'm pretty confident I can make you a promise that it's going to work for you. But remember, I can't guarantee you results. Why can't I guarantee you results? Because results aren't up to me. Results are up to you, right? But here's proof that it works. And that's what people need. This helps them get past the skepticism. Once you give them proof, then you can move on to what we call perceived value. Perceived value, okay? Perceived value is here's how much this is worth, okay? So in my program, in my Launch Online Coaching Academy that I sell, I can stack that out, okay? So what I can do is I can stack out the idea that, okay, you know, when you come in, you're going to get my Launch 28 program that is valued at $990, or my Launch 28 program launch valued at $997. When you come in, if you buy the annual ClickFunnels membership, you're going to get a free 1-hour coaching strategy, which right now is worth $997, but it was worth $597. You're going to be able to get that. Okay. When you come in, I'm gonna interview some of the greatest experts around the world. Here's how much that's valued at. I'm gonna give you my resource vault. Here's how much this is valued at. I'm gonna give you coaching how-to coaching every Saturday. Here's what it's valued at. I'm gonna give you live coaching like I'm doing today every Monday. Here's what it's valued at. I'm gonna give you a chance to teach on an open mic. Here's how much that's valued at. And we're gonna keep throwing in bonuses and this and this. And here's what that's valued at. And I can stack it. You see, that's my stack. That's what we call my stack right there. The perceived value is stacked. Now, real quick on this, and I've only got a few minutes left, so I'm going to fly. But real quick on your stack, okay? On your stack, there's 2 ways to give stacks. One is simply by listing all of your products, okay, and putting a value, and it's going to come up with a perceived value. The second way to do it is what I call an emotional stack. So one is a physical stack, and one is an emotional stack. And you can get to that emotional stack by saying this: if all this did was, and you tie this back to your pain. So if I was selling like a marriage coaching, guys, if all this did was get you off the couch and back into bed, would it be worth it? Hey, if all this coaching did was help you get clarity on who your gal is, and you can be able to communicate to her in a greater level, and you can bring her more satisfaction than ever, would it be worth it? If all this did was keep you from getting a divorce, would it be worth it? If all this did was save your kids from years of headache and anguish and heartache, would it be worth it? If all this did was allow you to know that you may have other problems in the world, but your marriage isn't one of them, would it be worth it? So you see what I do? What I'm doing is I'm doing an emotional stack. So in addition to a physical stack where you're going to list all your products, now you're going to do an emotional stack where you get people to buy in. And it's at this stack where people say yes, okay? I mean, everybody watching me today just scream, yes! Right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get them to say yes, and not yes to buying your product. You're trying to get them to say, yes, I can solve my pain. There's hope on the horizon. This person is my asset. This person is my advocate. This person can help. Yes. And if all this did was get me from the couch to the bed, yes, it would be worth it. Are you with me? It's an emotional stack. You have to give them an emotional stack. Why do you do an emotional stack? The reason is because we work with spiritual beings. We're made of body, mind, soul, and spirit. Okay? Body, you can change through exercise and diet. Okay? Mind, you can change through reading and through learning. Okay? Soul, you can change through introspective. Okay? And then fourth, spirit, that's the one thing that is externally controlled. Okay? You can validate somebody and it lifts their spirit. Okay? But we're spiritual, emotional beings. It's just how God created us, folks. We can't help it. Okay? It's just who we are. Okay? And you're not going to be very good if you don't talk to all four components of a being. Okay? Some people say, well, isn't that emotional manipulation? Heck no, it's not emotional manipulation. Or at the same time, heck yes, it's emotional manipulation. Both. It's yes and no, both at the same time. The reason why it's not scammy is because it helps. It lets people buy into. What part of their being do you think they're experiencing pain in? Their mind? Yes. Their body? Probably. Their soul? Yep. But you know where they're really experiencing the pain? Their spirit. And you got to bring a solution to their spirit by giving them an emotional stack, by tapping into their emotion and allowing them to see for the very first time what hope would look like. Okay? Somebody did that for me. When I was depressed and like suicidal, sitting on my couch eating bonbons all the time, gaining 30 pounds, when I didn't want to, when me, the king of extrovert, didn't want to step out the door, when me, who wants to be around people all day long, turned my phone off for weeks and didn't want to talk with anybody, didn't want to text with anybody, when I was that guy, okay, when I had $11 freaking dollars in my bank account, 3 or 4 months behind on my mortgage payment, the house is going to be foreclosed on me, 2 months behind in my rent payment, my car is breaking down. You know what somebody did? Was they grabbed me by my freaking face and said, I believe in you. And this guy made a statement to me that I'm going to say to you that changed the way that I thought. He said, the pain in which you're experiencing at this particular moment will not last forever. It's only temporary. God, I needed to hear that. Holy freaking heck, I needed to hear that. The pain in which you feel at this moment is only temporary. It will not last forever. God, man, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because the guy freaking tapped into my spirit, the very place I had pain, and he gave me hope. He made me a promise that it was all going to be okay. He showed me how I could overcome it. So heck yeah, you give them an emotional stack. Because emotion is where the pain is. That's what you pay for. You pay to get rid of that freaking pain. So you give them a stack. Then you move on and you give them the price. I'm ahead of myself. You give them the price, okay? How much does this cost, okay? And that's just black and white. How much does this cost? How much does it cost? Okay, price is super simple. Now, price, what I believe is you take your perceived stack, okay? You take the stack, the perceived value, okay, that we showed you just a while ago, and you add that up, okay? So what I would do is I would add my perceived value. I would take, my coaching, my master classes, my, how-tos, my one-on-one session, my launch money. I stack it up, and it comes up with a price, a pretty hefty price of this is what it's valued at. You can set your price for somewhere between 10 and 20% of the perceived value. So if you value that thing at $1,000, you can set your price for somewhere between $100 and $200. Okay, so that's if you can sell it at, if you value it at $10,000 or $20,000, you can set your price somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. What's it worth? What's the value? I'm talking actual value. I'm not talking about pie in the sky, like where you do a one-on-one call with me and it's worth $27,000. No, come on, that's stupid. You're not the Dalai Lama, for crying out loud. Okay, I'm not talking about stupid stack. I'm talking actual stack. What's it worth? Really? What's it worth? You set your price 10 to 20% of whatever it's worth. Then you move on. Okay, you move on to the next one. And then you're going to notice here on the next one that you're going to get another bullet point. But I just added this one here a few weeks ago. This was the 11th step. Now it's 12th step. Now you're going to give them a perk. Okay, now you're going to give them a perk. What's the perk for buying right now. Okay, what's the perk for buying right now? Hey, listen, Johnny, Susie, whoever your avatar is, here's what your problem is. Here's how it manifests itself in pain. Here's why I'm the guy or gal to help you. Here's my story. Here's my problem. Here's my pain. I felt that way until I discovered a solution, okay? And I'm going to make you a promise that I'm going to introduce you to the solution that's going to help you too, okay? And now here's the process. A, B, C, and D, okay? That's the what. Then you move them over to the product, okay? That's the how, okay? Now you can buy my done for you, step-by-step, how to, okay? Here's proof that it works. Here's Ethel, and here's Marjorie, and here's John, and here's Gordon, and okay? And and here's me, by the way. This is what happened to me. Here's my proof. Here's what it's worth, okay? It's worth this, and this, virtual stack. And then if all this did was this, or if all this did was that, or if all this did was that, emotional stack, followed by the price. Here's how much it costs. It costs $497, it costs $997, it costs $1497, whatever it costs. And here's the perk for getting it today, okay? The perk for getting it today is we are going to be able to give it to you for half price, or we're going to add a coaching session in, or whatever your perk is. Give them some kind of perk for buying today, and then you move them on to the final P. You move them on to the purchase. And here's how you can purchase it. Here's the button you can click to buy my product. This is the 12-step strategic operation process that you can use in a very practical manner, okay, to be able to build your business, get results for folks, and get paid, okay? This right here, this 12-step process. Pretty powerful. Very practical. Now, real quick, I've got 4 minutes before I got to go, okay? If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat room. If you guys are live with me today, if you're watching this on demand, you can send me an email. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Let me get very practical. This 12-step process can be used for 3 components. It can be used as your business plan. If you're trying to create a plan, you're trying to create a product game plan, you can use that. If you do that, you need to start at what I would say you need to start at step 5, which is the promise, and work your way backwards, okay? Okay, work your way backwards. Hey, I'm going to make you a promise that you're going to be able to go from ideation to activation in not too long whatsoever, okay? Back the truck up. Okay, personal. I can tell you that because my name is Chad Thibodeaux. I'm a business and launch strategist, and I run a company called Launch Fuel Online Coaching Academy, where I've worked with hundreds of clients that were literally around the world, and we've been able to take them from ideation to activation. But it hasn't always been that easy. In fact, I remember there was a time when I was depressed and anxious and suicidal. Okay, I sat on my couch for weeks, gained so much weight. All I wanted to do was eat. I didn't want to talk with anybody. I almost lost my extrovertness, and I'd almost given up hope on life. I found so much insignificance because I'd talk with my kids. They would want something. I couldn't afford to give it to them. I wasn't taking them on any vacations. I was looking at my ex and looking at all the great things that she was doing, and I felt really worthless and really useless. I felt like that my significance on this earth had ended. That's pain. Now back the truck up. Problem. Okay? All I really want to do is launch a business. I want to change the world. I want to build a platform where I can help people, impact people's lives. But I don't know where to start. It's so confusing. I'm getting bombarded from 300 people at one time. Buy my shiny object. It's going to work. Buy my shiny object. It's going to work. And I bought so many. I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars I spent on Infusionsoft and on ClickFunnels and on lead pages and on copywriting and on Facebook ads. And none of it has freaking worked. It's my problem. Right? Back the truck up. So you follow me? You can back the truck up. And who has those problems and who has those pains? For me, it's people between the ages of 35 and 55 who probably had some kind of career at one time. They're sick of it. They're tired of it. They're frustrated with it. They're not getting the money that they know that they deserve. They're not getting the accolades that they know they're worthy of. They have no significance in what they do. Okay, and now that significance is turning into a lack of security. Their bank account is dwindling. Are you following me? So if you're trying to start a product, start a process 5. What promise can you make somebody based on something you've been through? Who are you? What kind of pain is your client going through? What kind of problem? And what kind of back the truck up? Okay. So this is your business process. You can literally create an entire business off these 12 steps. This is also your content. Okay. This is all your content. You want to do a webinar? So people always ask me, Chad, how do I do a webinar? Right here. This is it. Hi, everybody. Hey, if you're a realtor between the ages of 35 and 55, this is one of my clients. This is her avatar. If you're a realtor between the age of 35 and 55, and you sold a few houses, but you know that you can sell a lot more, I want to talk with you today. How many of you, when you got into real estate, thought that you were going to be selling people homes in the American dream, and only a few weeks into it, you realized that you weren't a realtor at all, baby, but you were a telemarketer? You were making so many freaking cold calls to people who were just hanging up on you that you weren't selling anything. You didn't quit your job to be a telemarketer. You quit your job to be a realtor. And everybody that you know was making money on it, but you're not making money on it. And you talked your spouse into letting you quit your job so you can go be a realtor, and now your finances are done. And you're broke. And you feel worthless. You know you're better than all your peers, but yet they're making money and you're not. And now your spouse is beginning to question whether you have the intelligence to make this particular move. Now stress is biting at you. You follow me? So you just go through this entire process. And you do this in a webinar. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Thibodeaux, and I'm a XYZ real estate agent, and I want to make you a promise today. And the reason why I can make you a promise is because I've been right where you're at. I remember when I first got into real estate, I thinking everything was great, and I jumped into the business, and holy heck, I didn't make my first sale, guys, for 18 months. I was so broke for 18 months, and I was livid. Okay, and you can go through the process. You can tell your story. But remember, I told you I was going to make you a promise, and here's the promise I'm going to make you today. If you listen to the teaching I'm going to give you in this training today, if you listen to this, you apply it, it's going to transform your life. It's going to increase the amount of leads you get. You're going to get off the phone. You're not going to have to be a telemarketer anymore. You're going to get off the phone, and the leads are going to be coming to you as opposed to the other way around. People are going to be anxious to have you as their realtor, and you're not going to have to be anxious about trying to find customers any longer. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And you do that, and then now you get to your process, right? So the process in your webinar, this is what Russell Brunson would call your 3 secrets. The process is your 3 secrets. So I want to tell you, and then you teach your concept. You teach your strategy. That's secret number 1. At the end of your strategy, as Joel Orway taught us, then you raise an objection. Not an objection to why they would or would not purchase. You raise an objection to your process. Yeah, but you may be thinking, would this work for you? And then you solve it. And then you raise another objection. Yeah, but you wonder, you wonder if this works in your community because your town is small. You solve it. Those are your 3 secrets. Your process is secret 1. Your first objection is secret 2. Your third objection is secret 3. That's your process. Now that I've taught you that, some of you are going to want more support. You move on to the product. I want to introduce you to my product. I want to introduce you to real estate 101, how to 10x your lead generation in 10 days, whatever your product is. Okay. Now let me show you that it works. Okay. I've coached thousands of students, and here's what it did for me. Bam, bam, bam. Here's what Mark says. Here's what Anthony says. Here's what Julie says. You give proof. Okay. Now in this package, here's what you get. You're going to get one-on-one coaching. You're going to get a funnel. You're going to get email templates. You're going to get this, and you stack them up. Okay. And here's how much it's worth. Now, before I tell you how much you're going to pay for it, let me ask you a question. If all this did was keep you from making cold calls, would it be worth it? If all this did was double the amount of leads you're getting, would it be worth it? If all this training did was help you close 1 more house per month, would it be worth it? If all this training did was help you live the laptop lifestyle and let you quit your 9-to-5 job so you can be a real realtor, would it be worth it? So you do the emotional stack on them. And then here's what you're going to pay. The price for my program is $1,997, $1,997. Okay. And I believe that if you take this training, you apply it, you're going to get a significant ROI, because I believe that if you apply it, just as it transformed my life, just as it transformed Anthony's and Mark and Susan's life, I believe it can transform your life. Okay. But here's what we're going to do today. Okay. Now, just for a limited offer, if you buy while we're still in the webinar today, I'm going to give you some perks. I'm going to sweeten the deal a little bit. I'm going to talk you into buying today because I really believe that my product can help you and change you. Okay. And so I'm going to make you a deal today. If you purchase today, I'm going to give you a free one-on-one coaching call where I walk you through my process step by step. I show you how to implement it. I help answer any questions, and we're not getting off that call until you're crystal clear on the process. But you got to buy today. In addition, so now you give another perk. In addition, if you buy today, in addition to the one-on-one phone call, I'm going to give you my funnel, the funnel that I use to 10x the lead generations for my business. I'm just going to give it to you. I'm just going to send you a link. You're going to be able to download it, and bam, you got it. Okay. And then one more thing that I'm going to give you if you purchase today. Now you have to purchase today. Okay. If you purchase today, I'm going to throw in 1 free month of Facebook ads. Okay, are you following me? So perks are, what are you going to throw in to sweeten the deal? Now, they don't have to be that extreme, but what are you going to throw in to sweeten the deal? You've already told them the price, and then you give them an opportunity to purchase. So this is your webinar, purchase. So you put a slide up. Here's your stack. Here's how much it's worth. Here's how much it's going to cost. Here's the button that they can click to buy it. If you're going to purchase it, and you put a countdown clock on for 15 minutes, and you do Q&A for 15 minutes. Okay, why they're buying. You welcome people to the family, etc. That's a webinar script. So in addition to your business plan, in addition to your marketing plan, it's also your content plan. Take this in any piece. You're trying to write an email sequence. Well, I want to write a 5-part email sequence. What do we do? Well, part 1, person, problem, pain. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you my story on how I went from having $11 in my bank account to whatever. Okay, so then tomorrow you tell your story. Then day 3 you tell the promise, and day 4 you give them the process, and day 5 you invite them to buy your product, and you just follow the process. It works. Okay, it's a logical process that people go through to buy. So hey, I've got to bail, but I hope that this teaching and training was beneficial to you. It's my 12-step strategic operation process coming to a webinar near you, and very, very, very soon. But take this, learn from it, be blessed. I pray that your life is a blessing to not only you and your family today, but to other people. And I pray that you can just make a positive difference in someone's life, because you may not be able to change the entire world, but you can change your world and someone else's. God bless you. We'll talk to you very soon.